What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another one. So as you can guess from the title of this video, we're going to be swapping out the deck on the Subaru. Now what I have laid out here is pretty much anything you'll need if you're going to go the route of installing a Pioneer, JVC, one of your typical run-of-the-mill stereos. If you're going to be doing an Android head unit, it will be different as far as the install goes. The removal will be the same of the factory unit, but the install is different. Now I've looked at many different options at what I want to put in. I was strongly considering the Android head unit. I actually had an older one, but what I didn't like with the older one was it wasn't bright enough for me. So I figured, let me just go the route of your typical stereo setup and go from there. So what you see here is everything you'll need to do the install. Now I have a 2019 Premium, so it does already have an Android Auto / Apple CarPlay ready radio in there, but honestly I'm not the greatest fan of it. To me it's been a bit laggy. I have to fight a lot of the times with the cables, and I've swapped cables, and it doesn't give me the output I'm looking for audio wise. Now I've already changed out all of my interior speakers, and I actually ran an external amp for them, and the factory head unit just doesn't give the signal as cleanly as I'd like. Putting in one of these aftermarket head units with RCA outputs will definitely do that. Now what we have here is the wiring, so we don't have to do any cutting, and I'll show you that closer. We have the Maestro unit. This is the iData link unit that'll help me retain all of my steering wheel controls, and of course the faceplate. There's two different types of faceplate. I got the gloss black. There is a cheaper option that's like half silver, half gloss black, but I wanted to keep everything one color. Wasn't a big fan of the half silver, half black. Let's unbox some of these things and I'll give you more of a in-depth review of what's included. Alright, so let's see what we got. We'll start with the cables. It's the easiest thing. This one here is for the stereo speakers to the Pioneer head unit, and this cable actually connects to this one, which is the Subaru 28 pin. That basically you'll get the steering wheel controls, the wire for the reverse gear, some auxiliary output, a step down for the camera, because you need to do that if you're going to use one of these head units. Now you can buy basically this 28 pin and these two as just separate universal adapters, but then you'd have to do the wiring to the head unit, to the Maestro, the iData link. And honestly, I don't mind that. I've been actually doing stereo since early 2000s, so to me it's pretty simple. To a lot of people it can be burdensome and seem like a lot of work, but it's actually not that bad. But honestly, for the price, I found these on Amazon, and it's from AutoHarness. These guys, pretty much if you have a WRX and you're gonna do a Pioneer, Kenwood, or they have a whole list of brands, they actually do the wiring for you, and it's nice and clean and neat. And this is a huge time saver, especially this one, because as you can see it comes here with the adapters on here, so it's as easy as plug and play into your factory stuff. So that's pretty cool. I'll have the part numbers linked in the description. You could go to their website. Actually, like I mentioned, I found these on Amazon, so I got it here within like a day or two, which is cool. Next thing you're gonna need, antenna adapter, because for whatever reason Subaru's antenna isn't like your typical standard antenna like this. It's actually a plug. This has two wires. That blue wire, you can ignore that blue wire, we won't be using it. That's like an additional power. Now with a lot of these adapters, they're meant for multiple cars. Like Subaru shares the same one as Toyota as well. Same thing with this. This could be used, I think, in different models, but actually it's right there. It says fits Lexus and Toyota, but believe it or not, this actually works. And again, I'll have all of these linked below so you can get the part numbers and take a look at it yourself. The iData link, this, I just got the SW, which means it'll give me the steering wheel controls. I didn't get the RR or the RR2 because I don't have like the telematics in my car. Mine's is just the standard radio that comes on the premium models. But this is also like 50 bucks compared to the 150 for the other units. And what you're getting with the other units is the different features and functionality that the other units offer. Quite frankly, I didn't care for any of that stuff. I just wanted the steering wheel controls. So this is the best bet, and these are super easy. It kind of scares people off, but all you need to do, and there's tons of YouTube videos on how to set this up, you literally go to the iData link website, put in the car that you have. It even shows you pictures of your head unit, and I'll try to throw something on the screen that'll show you what that's like. You literally just plug in a USB onto this and it'll upload the driver or program it for you. So Actually, let me open this up so you can see what comes inside. That's it. Here's the unit. It's pretty small. Very cool. As you can see, that's where you'd plug stuff in. These harnesses more than likely. And then the USB. Looks like a mini. That gets plugged in. Go to the website. You have to register it. After it's registered, it asks what car you're putting this into. It shows you a picture of your steering wheel and your stereo, so you'll know it's the correct one. Then you choose which radio you're going to be using. Enter in all the information. You just download the file and it'll program itself. And then unplug it, go plug it into the unit. So the cool thing with this here, actually, this 28-pin adapter from AutoHarness, it actually already has the pin on there. So I don't really need to use the stuff that they came with, because the guys at AutoHarness already set this up to work for the Maestro or the iDataLink unit. So again, super simple, less wiring for me to do, can't complain. So this is the unit, that's the iDataLink, and again, strictly just so I can keep my steering wheel controls. Before we get to the radio, this is the faceplate. So I got the all gloss black version. Let's take a look. There it is. That's pretty cool. Nice and shiny. So this one is about 45-50 bucks, I believe. I don't remember. Again, it'll be linked below. There is a cheaper version for 20 bucks, but basically this bottom half is silver and the top half is the piano black, or this gloss black. I really like the gloss black, so that's why I wanted the whole thing to look like this. I don't think I'm gonna wrap this to match anything in the interior, because I think soon I'll be changing up the wrap I put on the interior. So we'll keep this like this for now and go from there. It also has some mounting brackets in here. I don't really use these. We'll take a look to see if they're worth it. I like using back the OEM brackets, and we'll mount that up to the radio so it just fits better. But it's in here if you need it. That's what it looks like. And the part number for this one, again, will be linked below, but there it is. Cool. And this is from Scotia. Now, the main unit. This is the Pioneer 2660NEX. I went with the 2660 because for the price you pay, you can't go wrong, and it has everything I'm looking for. You can see right down here, you have three-way adjustments, which means you can really fine-tune your audio. Steering wheel controls, dual phone connection, meaning two phones could be connected via Bluetooth at the same time. Full HD 1080, that's actually, I didn't realize it had that playback. I don't know how much I'll really be using that, but it's there. It has a video out source, which means if I really wanted to, I'm not going to, but if you want to put this, say, in an SUV and you have headrest TVs, or you have a separate source where you want a video to show, this can do that. It has the video out for it. Number one thing, the reason I wanted it, Android Auto. It does have CarPlay if you have an iPhone, and this will work with both. iDataLink compatible, and it has HD radio. I know not a lot of people listen to radio anymore, but I actually do. And one of the main reasons I went with this is the amount of features you get for the price. I like the Pioneer software. The boot time on this is really quick. There's tons of videos doing full-blown reviews on the 2660. This is a pretty current model, so they have other versions for less of the price, but again, this has pretty much everything I was looking for. So let's open this up and take a look. Here's everything you get in the box. Mounting screws, get a mic, a remote control, USB, looks like an extender. We're also going to be relocating the USB, so I don't have to go into the glove box to use my USB. I'm going to relocate it right under the radio. And of course, the Pioneer wire harness. So the good thing is we don't need to use this because the AutoHarness already has the Pioneer clip on here already. Or plug, I should say. Bunch of books. Apparently it has Alexa built into this. That's cool. A manual that no one ever reads. Let's take a look at the actual unit. There it is. Now it's supposed to be 7-inch, but I think in reality the screen itself is actually like 6.8 or 6.9 inches. You can look up the specs and take a look. But here it is, nice and clean. That's what the back looks like. And this is one of the main reasons I'm changing the deck, is I can get these audio outputs, because I do need front, rear, and subwoofer, because I do have all those things already set up in the car. So I will put all of that in. On Pioneer head units, this brown RCA over here, this is actually a reverse. We also have a RCA for video and a secondary video output. So I always wanted to run a front camera. With this, I'll be able to if I wanted it. We got a whole bunch of other stuff. This is where the factory plug would go in. Not the factory plug, but the Pioneer head unit would go. That plug would go right in here. USB and the iData link for the steering wheel controls. Now if you want to do, I should have mentioned this earlier, but you don't need to do the iData link. I'm trying this one out because it looks a lot easier. There's other ones like the PAC or the ASWC, I don't remember the names anymore. The access unit. There's different units, but I want to try this one out because I heard good reviews about the iData link. And that's pretty much it. This is what everything looks like. Once it's installed, probably, if you guys are interested, I'll give you a review on the radio. I'm excited to get this installed, so enough chit chat, let's jump into it. Alright, so the best way to pull this off, start from up here and pull backwards. Best thing, get a pry tool, wedge it here, and start prying. But I've taken this thing apart so many times now that I could just use my hands. There we go. Once that's on, you have two clips in the back for the hazard and the multi-switch selector. Let's take those off. I mean, you could just leave this up here, but I'd rather get it out the way. Okay, let's get that out the way. Now there's tons of videos to show you how to remove this radio, because this radio actually has two screws on the sides that you need to get down and go through the glove box, and there's one on this side that you'll be able to access from going by the pedals. Now I've removed this radio already, and there's tons of videos to show you how to get to those, but when I put back the radio, I never put those two bolts back because to me it was a pain in the ass. So I just have these two 10mm up top, so let me take that off. So those are the 10s that we need to remove right up top. Okay, then you just pull backwards. Of course, after you take out those two side screws. That's it. Now we have to get underneath to get the plug out for these controls. And I'll show you once I take it off. Okay, got it off. Okay. Now everything back here, these are the stock harnesses. We'll pop those out. Alright, there we have it. It's out. So this big one is the one you need to take out for the climate control before you can pull the radio forward. So you got to get under there and just squeeze this in. It's pretty easy to get out. Plugs into there at the bottom of the climate control. And this is what the back of it looks like. So let's remove these side panels, the side brackets, just 4 Phillips on each side, and we'll put that over to the new deck. And then we need to take out 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to remove the climate control unit, and we'll put that onto the new faceplate. Pretty simple. So before Alright, so before we mount this on here, we're going to put it in the car to figure out which holes exactly we're going to be using. So as you can see, there's many here. It's to give you different adjustment points to see how far in or out you want the radio to sit. So we'll do this when we're in the car. Alright, so let's start with the easiest one first, the antenna adapter. So again, this blue wire is not needed. I'm probably just going to end up ripping it out or cutting it off. But for now, let's just plug it in. Here's the antenna. And only goes in one way, so perfect. Let's go with the 28 pin. So AutoHarness actually gives you paperwork when you buy these things with instructions and some pictures. It's pretty good. There's some additional wiring you need to do for different cars, like a BRZ. I think you need to do an extra wire that they supply. You just gotta put it in, but I don't have a BRZ, so my setup looks pretty plug and play. So let's put in the 28 pin. Okay. That one's in. Here's our video for the reverse camera. And speaking of reverse camera, let's plug in the harness. So it'll be this one. Perfect. Now I'm gonna clean up all these wires when I'm done, but for now it looks like a mess. Alright, so that's that one. So we have this 6 pin here. The 6 pin actually connects to the second harness that we have from AutoHarness, and that is the speakers. So let's plug in the speakers. Okay. That's that. Alright, so here's the 6 pin, and these two connect to bind the two together. Makes it super easy. This goes into the back of the Pioneer deck. And what else do we have here? I believe that's it. We're not going to be using the rest of these. Consider them spare parts. So let me get the deck. We'll plug it in and test it to make sure all of these wires work before we start cleaning up anything. Actually, we forgot the biggest thing, the Maestro data link. Let me get that. Can't forget this bad boy. Otherwise we won't have steering wheel controls. And it's the super thin one, and it goes right into there. Perfect fit. Alright, so before we put in our nice deck, I just put one screw in there for now, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to readjust this again. But let's connect up all of our wires. So main Pioneer head unit adapter goes right in. If I could give you guys a better angle. There. So main unit. Okay, perfect fit. Alright, that's that one. Our video output, again, that's gonna go to the brown. Actually, that one's the smallest wire, so I'll leave that for last. Let's see what else we can connect. So for the Maestro unit, let's connect that one now. Alright, so we got to plug in this wire that comes with the iData link. Blue goes into the blue, pretty straightforward. Cool. And this wire here goes into the back. So this goes right into the back where it says WR. Okay. We have the USB extension. So we're going to be running a different USB extended. I'll show you guys in a sec. But for now, let me plug this in so we can just test it. Right now we're just testing the functionality that the stereo and the radio and everything else turns on, and the reverse camera works. Alright, so we've plugged in the data link, the USB extender, the Pioneer harness. Anything else we need for now to just do testing? Yes, we need the antenna. So that actually goes in on this side. So let's plug in the antenna and the reverse camera, and those are the only things we're testing right now. We still got to clean up all these wires, set it in there pretty good, and mount the deck back up there. So let's turn on the car and make sure these functions work. Alright guys, before I put all of this back together, I wanted to show you down here this USB adapter right there. I got a 1-inch drill bit, drilled a hole in there. I gotta clean that out. That's just the shavings you're looking at. Drill that in, and it gives me, this one is a 2 USB. It's USB-C. It's just an extender. I was originally going to run this all the way inside here, drill a hole, so this way I have relocated the USB plugs from inside there to be here, which is way more accessible. So instead I'm just going to run this single USB into the back of the deck, and now we'll be able to get to our USB from right in this little console area. Make life so much easier. So I'll have that link down below also if you guys are interested. There's a single and the double. I got the double, but you only need a single. So we got our deck mounted in the position that I wanted in. Have the bolts in, wires tucked away nice neatly in the inside. Now it's time to pop in our panel that we've put together. So don't forget to plug this in first. Okay. And then I like to work from the bottom and work my way up. And you're still gonna need to play around with the radio to make sure everything gets aligned the way you want it. It's in. The fitment is off, which means I need to do some adjustments. Instead of me showing you that, it's basically slacken the bolts, move it around until it gets into the correct position, then tighten the bolts. So let me do that. And all right, it's a quick update. I actually had to swap out the brackets, take out the original and use the Scotch ones that came with the faceplate. Those are working out way better. These kept throwing the radio off every time I adjusted it, and now that I'm looking at it, they do look a bit warped and bent, probably from me taking them on and off too many times. But this one's sitting much better, so I can button this up finally. All right, there we go. Everything's back together, nice and neat and very flush, which is what I like. Oh yeah, that looks amazing. And it still looks factory, so it doesn't stand out at all. I gotta take that sticker off though. But let's test it out, make sure everything still works. And this way you can see what the boot up time is. Less than 10 seconds. Alright, radio works, sound works. Our steering wheel controls all work. Now let's test our Android Auto. So now we have our plug right here, which is way more easier to assess, or way more accessible I should say. Pop in our phone, bam, right away picks it up. Music plays. Excellent. Oh, let's test our air. Yep, that's blowing. Those buttons work. All right, and the off. Excellent. Our hazards work. And our multifunction is operational. Excellent. So that's it, guys. This is a way better looking system. The operating system is super fast, which is great. That's the home screen. I think it looks nice and clean. Now if you guys are interested in a full review of this radio, definitely leave a comment below and I'll do that. But very happy with how this came out. I think it looks great. Oh, it also has WebLink, but I haven't set that up. WebLink is Pioneer's version of, you got to download the app and you can basically use YouTube and a couple other features, but it's, in my opinion, super slow, so I don't really care for that. I just wanted the Android Auto to work. The HD radio works perfect, Spotify, all that other stuff. So very happy. Pretty simple install thanks to AutoHarness. Those harnesses worked great. I didn't have to do any kind of additional wiring, any kind of customizing, nothing. Everything was plug and play, worked great. The only thing I had to do differently was, instead of using the factory mounting brackets, use the brackets that come with this faceplate. Made life so much easier. I'll take a look at the fitment. It is flush. And it looks awesome. Alright guys, so that's it. Radio is in. I was playing around with my accessories, not sure if I'm putting them back or not. Love the way this thing came out. This thing performs amazing. Very quick, very responsive. Capacitive touch, it's like a cell phone. All the function, I still haven't played with all the functionality, so I'm still messing with it. If you guys are interested in reviewing this radio, I definitely recommend it. But if you want a full review, let me know, and I can definitely do a video on that. Android Auto works great, the steering wheel controls work great, all the other buttons still function perfectly fine, and it's just has this nice clean look to it. Love this faceplate. Glad I went with the one color. It makes it look that much cleaner. Maybe it's time we change up the color in this wrap. Maybe another project. Alright, well that'll do it for today guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.